Welcome to our journey into the floral industry around the world. Amazingly enough, most people don't realize that the floral industry is a huge part of world economics. 2011 reported $32.1 billion of floral sales just in the United States, and that is up from 10 years previously in 2001, which was $26.7 billion. The top flower growing countries around the world that the United States imports almost 80% of the flowers from are Colombia, South America, Ecuador, the Netherlands, Canada, and Mexico. There are a few others that account for about 5% of those flowers, and we'll look at a few of those in a moment. The top flower growing states in America are California, leading the country at growing about 77% of the country's flowers, followed by Washington State, Oregon, New Jersey, Hawaii, North Carolina, and Florida. Join me in this journey to check out some of the up-and-coming as well as established flower farms around the world. Almost 80% of the cut flowers sold in the United States are imported, and that makes it difficult for American flower growers to compete. Listen as we hear from some growers at the San Francisco Flower Mart, which is one of the biggest of the 5 remaining flower markets in the country.
Despite the down economy, California still leads the nation in exports like technology, fruit, and dairy. The state is also the country's #1 exporter of cut flowers. But don't let that ranking fool you. Today, almost 80% of the cut flowers sold in the U.S. are imported, and that has California flower growers struggling to compete. KALW's Katie Jennings went to the San Francisco Flower Mart, which is the biggest of the 5 remaining flower markets in the country. She talked with growers about their changing business.
And these have been in here for probably about a week. They're already starting to grow a little bit.
Nick Nevy is a rose grower, like his father before him and his grandfather before him. He lives and works on his family's land in Petaluma.
There used to be over 100 rose growers in California back in the 80s, 70s, 80s. That was the thing to do. That was where you made money in the flower industry, was with the roses, if you had greenhouse space. And now there's probably about 12 or 13 of us left.
The first thing you notice about the roses in the Nevy's greenhouses is that they don't grow in the dirt. Instead, the roses sit in raised troughs off the ground. This system is called hydroponics. The troughs contain a mixture of materials that drain water quickly and evenly. And it basically means that Nevy can grow more standardized roses. Same size, same color, and most importantly, the same amount every week.
Everything in the greenhouse is automated, from the vents, the watering, the heat, the fans, that controls humidity, temperature. We can try and control everything we can as close as possible.
The Nevy family didn't always grow roses this way. But for the past 30 years, they've had no choice. Hydroponic growing is one of the only things that allows for small growers like Nevy to compete with the import market.
Most of the imports put everybody out of business, cheap product and stuff like that. And so there's very few left. Everybody that's left has grows hydroponic. You get better quality, nicer head size, more production. So you pretty much have to.
6 days a week, Nevy loads his roses into trucks and brings them to the San Francisco Flower Mart, one of the biggest flower distribution centers in the country. Work at the Flower Mart starts early, really early. The market opens at 2 a.m., and by 3:30, it's packed. Carts roll by loaded with flowers and foliage of all varieties. Bouquets are wrapped in newspaper and tied with string for the local buyers, while huge arrangements are packed in boxes and shipped off all around the country. Willie Nevy is behind the counter at Brandon Street Wholesale Florist, ringing up customers. Willie is Nick Nevy's great-uncle. He likes to say he was born into the flower business. His father emigrated from Italy in the 1920s and started growing carnations in Colma. He himself has been coming to the flower market since 1949.
Major flowers were carnation and roses, gladiolum and pompon chrysanthemums. Right now we must have about 1,000 different variety of flowers.
But that variety has come at a price. Starting in the 1960s, Nevi saw more flowers coming in from South America. His business couldn't keep up, so he left the growing business for the wholesale business.
More people, even some of the growers that were growing, are now have become wholesalers.
Roy Borodkin runs Brandon Street Wholesale Florists. Borodkin doesn't produce his own product. He buys from local growers, but he also buys from abroad.
And we will take California-grown product and imported product, be able to blend it and generate mixed boxes of different kinds of foliages and flowers and ship them all over the United States.
It's a great spot. It's changing. It's starting to go more to, bigger companies, but it still has that grower feel.
Victor Nevi is one of Willie's nephews. He's also Nick's uncle.
I came here when my dad held my hand and carried me through and kind of walked me through the market, but as a business person since about 79.
Victor Nevi is a grower. He owns Lassen Ranch in Shasta County and makes a 5.5-hour drive to the market 3 days a week. Nevi says there are other challenges aside from the growing import market. There's also the question of land. Now that Colma and Daly City are developed, there's not a lot of space left for greenhouses.
The growers started selling out and getting a pile of money, and their kids went to school to be doctors, lawyers, and different things like that, so nobody really has been coming into the business, and so that kind of opened the door for the imports.
That may be the case for other growers, but the Nevi family is unique. 4 generations later, in one form or another, they're still in the business. Nick Nevi says there's no secret to their success.
The flower business is a tough business, it's a lot of work, and not many people, if you love it, you love it, and if you don't, you don't.
For the Nevi family, it's still a labor of love. In San Francisco, I'm Katie Jennings for Cross Currents.
South America imports the most flowers of any continent into the United States, so I thought we'd learn about a few other countries that most people might not realize that have great floral industries as well. We'll look at 2 domestic flower farms to see what's happening in the American floral industry. So let's begin our trip. We'll start here in Washington State, near Seattle, to begin our journey to flower farms around the world. You can choose the order of our adventure, so click on one of the countries that are marked with a red dot to start our travels. Japan. Now choose another country. India. Where do you want to go next? Ethiopia. Where's our next stop on our flower farm tour? California. Here we are back in the great Pacific Northwest of the United States. Washington State has incredible flower farms in the Skagit Valley near Mount Vernon, Washington, which is about an hour north of Seattle. Bulb companies grow these tulips along with daffodils and iris in order to sell the bulbs worldwide. We get the chance to enjoy their beauty every spring before the bulbs are harvested. This is an incredible sight to see such an intense carpet of flowers across the flat fields all around. I'm glad we took this journey together. There's so much more to see and learn about related to the floral industry around the world. Let's do it again sometime. Goodbye.